Good day, welcome back to Erasmus TV. The shocking killing of George Floyd in the US has prompted an outpouring of grief and an increasing acknowledgement of systematic racism. The last week we have seen worldwide protests on police violence and systematic racism. And of course, because no one can stay behind without showing their solidarity, we see a lot of public statements on social media, and that's exactly what this university did. Nevertheless, it is an important topic to discuss. Thank you for being here. I have here on my right side Merel Dap. You're a student from Erasmus School of Color. And the other side, I have assistant professor at ESB, Jess Bier. Thank you. And on Skype is with me Frederick and Ntow. He is a communication officer here at the university. To start with you, Merel. You were at the protest yesterday here in Rotterdam, one of the solidarity protests. Yes. How did you feel being there?
Being there was I was very amazed by the amount of people that were there. I was speechless from all the speeches that were there, and it was very inspirational to see all those people coming together and show solidarity, but also talking about their own experiences. I was very moved by one other black girl who's like around the same age as me, talking about her experience of ethnic profiling a few days ago in one of the parks in Rotterdam. That was very emotional to see, but it was a really nice experience, amazing experience.
Yeah, you mentioned talking about your own experience. You had some doubts coming here, and you really had to think about it for a while. Can you tell me why, or just not me, but everybody who's listening?
Well, for me, it's a lot of people probably won't understand, but being a black woman and being very vocal about your opinion can be very dangerous. You have repercussions, and I really had to think really hard to actually take a seat at this table, because a lot of tables aren't black women friendly. And I had to think really hard and be very specific, very selective of what table I'm going to take a seat at as a black woman, because there's always tone policing, and it doesn't matter what kind of tone I voice my opinion. A lot of people will always think that I'm an angry black woman or that I'm really over-opinionated with stating my opinion. And that's why it's very important to, especially also for black women, to just take a step back and think about at what table do I want to voice my opinion, and be very selective about it, because it's also sometimes mentally draining to experience that tone policing or not being able to voice your opinion because of the repercussions that will come out later.
Yeah. Really, again, thank you so much for being here. This is such a hard topic. If it must have been an experience that is so hard, people are calling it traumatic. Even I, of course, as a white woman, can't understand, but I really, really appreciate it. I really want to mention it that you're here. Thank you. And we were also yesterday at the protest in Rotterdam. My colleagues made this video.
I guess there's this one story. Me and my friends were gonna go to the Albertijn, and we were just walking like everybody else, but this security guard kept following us. He went into the store, and every aisle that we went into, he followed us into. So at a certain point, we were just fed up with it, and we asked him, "Why are you following us? You're annoying us." And he basically said, "I think you guys are gonna steal, because you guys look like people that steal."
You study at the university, and what do you think that the university can do to tackle the problem?
This is one of the most international cities, especially in the Netherlands, and I think it's important that the professors realize that students have struggles, but this is not directed against the professors. I think there should be more sensitivity, and that they should say something or reach out to your fellow students. You know, you don't have to take a stand, but you doing so really means a lot, because you are acting as a mentor.
This student is being very kind, I think. She said, you don't have to take a stand. But I think she put it too kindly. Yes, what do you think? I think we should take a stand.
Yes, I think as a university and as professors, we definitely need to take a stand. It's important to note that racism is a systemic problem. It's a problem that's present throughout the university and every area of life, because it's present throughout society and every area of life. And there's a number of things you can do both as an individual and as an institution to show support to students of color and to minimize the effects of racism in the university. So on a personal level, Of course, every white person should be reading the works of people of color. This is something that's present. You can go on Twitter and search for anti-racist reading list. There's works available. There's works written for a broader audience. You can also go on YouTube and look up lectures by the authors of those works. But what's equally important, or even more important, is the systemic response. So at the university, we can address racism in curriculum by making sure that we're reading and citing the work of professors of color. You can address it in mentoring by reaching out to students, and she already noticed this, but this is something that can be encouraged institutionally in the university. Hiring is really important. There are not enough professors of color. There are plenty of scholars of color in the world, so if there's fewer professors of color at the university, it means that the institution has a problem that needs to be fixed. Promotion is very important. There are policies in place to promote women. We need to have policies also for professors of color. And then also making sure you have rigorous complaint procedures, support, institutional support for students so that they feel like their voices are heard and taken seriously.
So if I listen to you, you say the university isn't doing enough at the moment to promote inclusion and diversity.
No, but there's really so much more that we can do now. And keep in mind that one of the goals of the university is to make a positive societal impact, and part of that starts here in the university, making sure that our community is a place where everybody can thrive.
Yes. Frederick, the Diversity and Inclusion Office is a place, well, where this is always, well, high on the agenda. What is the university doing?
Well, firstly, I'd like to thank Merel's bravery in attending today. I think her point of having to think twice about having a voice is a key issue that we have to address. I think Dr. Bier has also outlined some of the things we need to be doing and are doing. And I mean, before we even start, the first thing is to understand really what the issue is in the first place. And that is firstly by finding out and doing research on our community, and also taking examples from other faculties and other universities on how to address it. So what we've done are things, for example, such as faculty diversity officers, having diversity officers in different faculties to help talk about access, talk about promotions and complaint procedures. But the key and important thing is to look at things such as collaboration between groups like ESOC and Merel, connecting allies at the university together, connecting researchers on this subject, and also getting support of the leadership of the university, which at the moment we very much do. We also have to recognize that a lot of these problems start well before this university. So you're looking at outreach. You're looking at people at EUR and who don't get to EUR because systems have disenfranchised them. And this is exacerbated especially at a time of crisis at the university. I believe you'll be addressing that in a later program. So being honest about the experiences of people here and doing the research and finding that our community is not equal or it does not have the same outcomes is something that we're collecting research and doing.
Merel, you're a student here. Is the university doing enough at the moment?
Well, the Diversity and Inclusion Office for now has a lot of plans and is actually actively working and also connecting with students, so I think that's a positive thing. But for me personally, we're the Erasmus University of Rotterdam, like Erasmus Rotterdam, and also the only university in Rotterdam. And I don't see Rotterdam on this campus. There are so many grassroots organizations within this city, also a few that actually helped organizing the protest yesterday, like Concrete Blossom, Hip Hop House, such amazing people with so much knowledge. I don't see them here. We need to collaborate with people from this city. There's so much knowledge. We're like an academic institution. We produce and reproduce knowledge. Go out into the city of Rotterdam and try to find the people that actually have knowledge and bring them in. And also find a more connection within the city because we're really in the central part of the city, but not at the other side of the bridge of the city. Like go into the neighborhoods. I was born and raised in one of the neighborhoods actually here, the Ash. And I always, on the weekends when we did groceries, I went past the campus, but I've never been on campus. Like find a connection within the neighborhoods, even near the university campus. Go into the city.
You already mentioned some organizations who are worth following. Do you have more tips for us? What to follow, what to read, what to do?
I have some tips, but the thing is also like what I've noticed for this week, that like internet, Google, like that's your friend. You can really put in the effort to do that yourself. But I can mention a few that if you really want to like work on it and do something about it, donate, look them up, like the Black Archives, KOZP, Black Queer and Trans Resistance, Control-Alt-Delete. They're really, really good and great activists, and they do a lot of work. Follow them, look at their Instagram page, Facebook page, definitely donate, because it's for a good cause. But that's the tip, all the tips I can give right now, because you really have to do it yourself. Like asking for experience and stuff like that, that time is long gone, long gone. I had to do a lot of research too, and now it's time for other people to do that too. That's your responsibility if you really want to make this work. You have to look at yourself like, what am I willing to sacrifice or I'm willing to do to make it work for everybody, and give everybody a space to actually partake in this society.
Frederick, Jess, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I just want to support what both of them said, and want to say that the Diversity Office and Erasmus School of Color are doing really important work. And the point about outreach and about connecting with the city is also so important. There's so much to be learned here. There's so many different people with different experiences. Rotterdam is a really inspiring city, and we can give back to that and learn from it.
Yes, Frederick, same question to you.
I would say that what Merel has mentioned is absolutely perfect and right. And I think that all of us from an institutional and individual basis need to take ownership of the issue. Even if you're not directly affected, you are part of this. You know, it's your friends, your colleagues, even if you may not know, but asking as soon as you start to ask the questions, which is why we're here as a university, you may find out more than you knew. And once people start to find out more, maybe they don't like what they hear. So you have to take ownership of making change in our community, respect each other and listen to people and be willing to learn.
We will share all of your tips, and if you have any adjustments, we will also add it. You can find it on our social media, but also at Erasmus Magazine later today. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you, Frederick. Thank you here at my table. And as Frederick already mentioned, we will come back to this topic indeed on Tuesday. That's our next episode. See you then.